The scariest monster that you can find in the backrooms is a black man. The Backrooms is really one of those things now that I shouldn't have to explain to you. You know what this is, motherfucker, don't lie to me. But for all the Haitians in the room, or just people who really like shitty video essays written by millennials whose writing skills never made it past MLA, The Backrooms is a short story written by some random guy in Israel's favorite honeypot, Fortnite. It's just a little horror story about no clipping out of reality into a hecking liminal space randomly generated void of endless rooms and gulp. There may be a big scary monster afoot. I'm kind of exaggerating here. There's maybe some deeper concepts about like life being a simulation theory, which is a real thing people believe, by the way. Mutahar of Some Ordinary Gamers believes this, and we all know that Mutahar is a smart fella. I mean, he's an engineer after all, right?
He admits he's not a licensed engineer in Canada, apologizes to anyone offended, and says he'll just call himself a programmer. Or, as he put it, a fat Indian guy that knows computers.
An Indian lying about his credentials? This can't be! Hey, Mutahar! Laugh if you're friends with a pedophile! But the Backrooms story, at least to anyone over the age of 14, owes its acclaim to its simplicity. There's nothing more scary than the fear of the unknown. Except black people. And I think most people would agree that if this story was any longer, or had any more detail, it wouldn't really add to anything, and might even make the story worse. But most people aren't children, because to little Timmy, level 6 of the Backrooms, where you're in an abandoned footlocker being chased by Pibby glitch Choo Charles, is more scary than the 22-year-old MTF grooming them on Discord. When the Backrooms story blew up, not like the Hindenburg, little children ate it up like Halloween candy, like juice to loose change, and very quickly they started to improve the story, which introduces us to the secret 10th circle of hell. The Backrooms Wiki. Here you can find all sorts of valuable literature about all the happenings of the Backrooms, from levels to entities, objects, fucking groups. They got Backrooms, Crips, and Bloods. Which side you picking, nigga? Children and autistic adults really love the idea of the Backrooms for some reason. If I were to theorize as to why, I think it's the same reason Jeff the Killer appealed to so many kids back when that blew up online, where it appeals to kids in the sense that it feels like someone their age wrote it. The only difference is that Jeff the Killer appeals to that sense because it actually was written by a child, and the Backrooms appeals to that sense because it's simple enough that it makes kids feel like they could have wrote it. Now, just as there's many autistic adults currently writing the 271,000 level of the Backrooms, where T$ chases you through a suburban neighborhood, there's also many whiny autistic adults who are very adamant about there not being any monsters or multiple levels in the Backrooms. Which, I get it. The Backrooms wiki fandom is very ESL FNF cutcore, I understand. But like, come on man, it ain't that deep, little bro.
Level Ohio.
I get that the original story is scary because it's short and leaves the reader with questions, but if people were to just run with that and only that, it'd be super fucking boring. The people on the fandom wiki are very much overdoing it, but there's some merit at least with some of the general ideas, because if people only use the original story when making anything about the Backrooms, they're really only left with nothing more than an empty room. Sure, the whole no monsters and no different levels thing works with a short story, but in any other medium it's actually nothing. And the easiest way to fix that is by adding a threat. I mean, the original story kind of maybe implies that there may or may not be a monster anyway, so like, just grow up here. Let the kids have their gmod nextbot monster. Go watch fucking Jeffy Watches Paint Dry if you really want a no monsters backroom experience. It's a slow-burn psychological thriller the likes of Stanley Kubrick could only wish to produce in his lifetime. Like all good wars, there was a clear winner. Because 4 years ago, on January 7th of 2022, the Backrooms monster truthers would declare victory and seal the Backrooms' fate, as director and VFX artist Kane Parsons released The Backrooms found footage. The original short film by Kane Parsons follows a guy who's filming gay porn with his friends when all of a sudden he slips on baby oil and falls into the Backrooms, where he records his mysterious findings before being found by Apeson and I think you know what happens next. In all honesty, the short film is actually really good, and I think finds a nice balance of staying true to the original story, whilst also adding some elements made by the ESL children of the fandom wiki. But just like the original Backroom story, Kane Parsons' short film suffered a case of blowing the fuck up. This video hit YouTube like how Mossad hit the towers. Everyone was both praising Kane's video and rushing to create the next big Backroom CGI short film slow burn psychological thriller that'll get them their shiny silver play button. There were copycats left and right, up and down, around and about. Everyone was making their own Backrooms found footage. And when everyone's Backrooms found footage, no one will be. There are endless amounts of these things, and like, only a quarter of them are actually worth the hard drive space they take up on the YouTube servers. The reason why there's so many of these is because on paper, it's really as simple as moving a camera around in a Blender file and slapping a VHS retroslop filter over it in whatever video editor these 14-year-old Brazilian children can get a hold of in their poor-ass country. You too can be the next slow-burn psychological horror indie film director. Here, even I can do it.
Where am I? This place is so hecking liminal. Oh, heavens, a good gravy!
Now, let me be clear. I love drone striking brown children as much as the next guy, but most of these videos are bland, and dare I say, not very good. But some of these are some of the best content ever uploaded in the history of YouTube.
Wait, that statue!
Oh my god!
Wait, that statue's moving!
Now, there's a lot of backroom slop to sit through if you want to find some gems, so I get that most normal people aren't going to spend their day watching shitty YouTube videos 24/7. But if you really want to dip your toes into the Ganges of Backrooms videos, there's these really funny videos of Kane reacting to them on the cord, but literally everybody else in the voice chat is about 12 years old and they're all talking over him.
But at least you can have infinite. But at least. Wait. At least you can have infinite.
I like the reflection.
He's not gonna.
There were also a bunch of video games made about the Backrooms too. The only one I can think of that anyone actually played was Backrooms Escape Together. But like, I don't know, man. It's friend slop. What do you want me to say about it? Desinc played it and it was pretty funny. And of course, with all these fan videos making the round, Kane would also go ahead and expand on his original video. Now there's like an evil corporation that studies the backrooms or something, and I don't know. Do I look like the kind of guy to watch this shit? No, I have football practice and smoking babes to beat mercilessly. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. Because Kane got to make the amazing digital Backrooms movie and it should have been me! On February 6th of 2023, a24 announced they were working on a feature-length adaptation of Kane's Backrooms YouTube series. And you want to know where I was? I was probably sleeping like a little baby, like me, because I'm a little baby and I don't care about the backroom. I honestly didn't really pay much attention to the hype surrounding the film. I remember a filming set being leaked and the plot being leaked shortly before the movie released. But on May 29th of this year, something happened. A movie came out. You know, I feel like a movie coming out isn't that special. I think they do that all the time.
What the Where in the are we, Jake?
The Backrooms movie is a movie that exists. I'm only kidding. I had you there for a second.
I was just joking.
My memory sucks, so I tried to take some notes as I watched it, but the film starts kinda as its own thing, where you see some unknown guy do the typical Kane Pixels Backrooms thing, where he runs around until he gets raped by the big scary monster. Then the actual movie starts, and we follow Clark, as he struggles to keep his furniture store afloat after his white girlfriend kicks him out of his own house. And he really wants to make it clear that she kicked him out of his own house. He really wants you to know that he was kicked out of his own house. I mean, I feel bad for him, down with the foids and all that, but at the same time, that's just karma for race mixing in my hecking liminal space slowburn indie film? Ew! Anyway, Clark runs his own furniture store and it's not going well. He has two college kid friends for some reason and they work at the store or something. I don't know, they're fucking annoying and they all die.
Sorry.
Clark has also fallen for the psyop known as therapy, and he pays a woman who's probably not as smart as him money to convince him that he's the problem or something. But the therapist, whose name I forgot, also has a very sad backstory, which should make us, the audience, care about her for some reason. I mean, the woman is sad, why aren't you guys crying? I'm not seeing enough movement! The start of the movie is really just set up for the cool shit. Most of it is just, woe is me, I'm so sad. Which may be relatable to all the millennials on SSRIs who are the target audience for this film, but I just kind of found it boring. Clark finds out that there's some odd switches in the breaker box, and one night, after watching TV and drinking Jack Daniels straight from the glass, you know, typical black man activities, he discovers the Backrooms. this is where the movie actually starts to keep me from falling asleep. He goes into the back rooms, he hears a creature, he runs away. It's fun, it's entertaining, it makes me squee. These are all the 3 things I ask for in a movie. We time skip about a week and cut to Clark in his therapy session with the woman we're supposed to care about, and he tells her all about the back rooms. We're told that over the past week he's spent his time mapping it all out. The woman calls him crazy because she's a bitch, and Clark goes to his friends slash coworkers slash who are you people house to film an exploration. It's kind of weird because when Clark leaves the therapist, he says he's going to get her evidence, but it feels like whoever wrote that forgot that that was the actual reason for him going to film, and it just turns into him filming his exploration rather than getting evidence. I think Kane Parsons might have been a little too tipsy when writing the scene, maybe he had a bit too much Jack Daniels. It's not really an end-all mistake or anything. I get that to move the story forward, he kind of has to do the camcorder exploration thing. If he were to actually do what he said he'd do and like took a video of him going through the wall or something, the movie would be over in 15 minutes. Kane, I forgive you. But if you ever do that again, I'm gonna knock your block off. Anyway, he gets his friends that you see filming his commercial at the start of the film to help him film his exploration. And I haven't mentioned it so far because this is the only time these characters become important, but I fucking hate these two. The woman, she's fine. She does nothing but be the slightly whiny woman friend. She's like if Tapwater was a person. But this kid right here, I fucking hate him. He's an annoying whiny and I want him gone. Go back and erase him from the film. I hate his lame commentary he adds for the film. I hate his gay fucking clothes. He's an annoying bland college kid stoner. I want to put him in a headlock and make him feel pain. Kane, is this supposed to be your self-insert character? Kane, I just want to talk. Kane, come on, Kane. Anyway, Clark takes his lame friends to the back rooms. This worthless piece of shit makes a weed joke.
I think I'll be able to tell if I was high.
You are high.
Pot doesn't count.
Just for that, this movie gets half a star. Clark ties down his lame friend to a bed frame to drop him into this really impressive set where it's like a really steep slope and it's actually kind of cool. I should probably mention that this movie has a lot of really cool set pieces and stuff with really abstract architecture. It's pretty cool. He drops him down into this room that's full of stinky laundry that looks like the room of that fat turd pedophile that keeps on showing up on my Zitter feed for some reason. Apparently this is a heckin' symbolism for something, but I'm too slow to figure it out. My best guess is that it's like people's memories and like the clothes represent memories of people or something. I don't know, bro. But thankfully, the monster fucking kills him, and in the process, knocks Clark and that other useless bitch down the slope. And starts probably my favorite part of the film, where it does that typical backroom shtick where they run around and spooky stuff happens, but this time it's actually cool because it's not just a camera flying around in Blender. This actually has a budget and does a lot of cool stuff with it. If I were to put on my Reddit snoo antenna and tell you my favorite section of the Backrooms, it would probably be this little Christmas section. It's kind of cute, and I like the weird creepy guy that chases him that, according to Zitter, is supposed to be like the memory still life of his wife or something. At the end of the chase, we see the monster pick up the camera as he has Clark cornered, which is pretty cool too. After we lose Clark, who's the only good character in this film, we follow his therapist, whose name I still don't know, as we're vaguely given her backstory and told why we should feel bad for her. From what I could gather, it was like her mother was a loony, not like my YouTube hero benthelooney, but like a crazy lady. And like something about her family home being demolished, oh my god, who the hell cares? I should probably mention now that one of the repeated notes I kept writing down while watching this film was that they use the exact same door sound effect every time. It's a nitpick, I know, but it really bothers me because it sounds like the Half-Life 2 door sound, but it's like slightly different. But anyways, the stupid Floyd therapist goes to the Clark store to find him and goes into the back rooms. She finds Clark's DeviantArt post on the wall and Clark does what we've all been waiting for and strangles her. Unfortunately, she's still alive as she wakes up tied to a chair at a family dinner scene with these weird looking people that I can only assume are supposed to be like Clark's memory of people in his life, because the ex-wife that we see in that chase scene is in the corner, so I can only assume that this George Lucas guy is the electric guy that we see like find the thing in the breaker box, and I don't know who this guy is, just a little disabled guy sitting in the corner. Anyway, Clark starts monologuing about some poop no cock cares about. I don't know, something about being kicked out of his own house. He says some stuff about like how the Backrooms is like people's memories. He cuts open the George Lucas guy and it's actually so fucking nasty. I feel bad for the people in the theater eating because it made my fucking stomach turn. It looks like he's made out of memory foam. It's so gross. Clark scalps his memory pony waifu and puts it on the therapist, and they ERP about like being kicked out of his own house. But ERP is against the server rules, so the therapist lady tells him off and says some shit about him being crazy or something. Fuck you! And then the scariest monster you could ever find in the backroom shows up. A black guy! A scary-ass monster version of Captain Clark comes out of the doorway, and I guess in the time between Clark being gone and the therapist lady looking for him, he befriended the memory still-life monster creature thing? I don't know, I didn't read the fucking wiki. And Clark talks to the monster like how girls talk to autistic men, and then the fucker eats him. I've been told that apparently this is supposed to be in reference to that painting of Saturn devouring his son, and like I see it in the same way that any scene of a dude eating another dude could be interpreted as a reference to the painting. Anyway, Clark gets eaten out by the Captain Crunch guy, and the lady runs away and starts the second best chase scene of the movie. I've said it before and I'll say it again, but the set design of this film is fucking incredible, and it's really shown at its best here. My only gripe is that the therapist is just way too clumsy and unaware of her surroundings to where it almost feels like it's being purposely campy. She runs away and stuff, and I don't know why, but I guess she sprains her leg tripping over a pile of couches. I don't know, it feels like making her hurt her leg is a really contrived way to try and make the chase more intense, but if anything it makes it less intense because now both her and the monster are moving at a snail's pace chasing each other. But it's kind of worth it because we get to look at this area now. This part is so fucking badass. I'm assuming this is supposed to be a homage to that one liminal space picture of that hotel in London. This is such a good little set piece, and I'll admit, I tensed up a little bit when I saw it because I'm a little pussy who's afraid of heights. Anyway, she gets up the stairs and leaves the cool-ass death room and enters this other really cool set piece, where Clark's store itself has become a memory that the Backrooms has turned into a place. The therapist lady faces the monster, and after being a clumsy piece of shit and sending off a trap set by Async, she kills the monster with a rock like a caveman and runs away. Yeah, I've kind of forgot to mention it, but Async is like the in-universe corporation that's been investigating the Backrooms. There's little nods to their existence with the guy at the start and the bag of the dead people in the first chase, but they set a trap in that room using the cardboard cutout that's been a little motif throughout the movie. According to Zitter lore people, it's just like a standee that says hello in all languages, and it's used to make contact with either other things in the Backrooms or monsters. There's a lot of other little prop motifs throughout the film, like these lopsided chairs and the sun and whatnot, but the standees are really the only important one. Anyway, the therapist lady runs into Async splunkers and gets saved. She gets questioned by this guy about what she saw and what she knows about the Backrooms, and then it's revealed that like a memory of her now exists in the Backrooms. And then the film ends, and I gotta say, that was a pretty good movie, all things considered. Before I saw the movie, I was kind of expecting it to be like an Iron Lung thing, where it's like inoffensive and really fucking boring, but no, it turns out the 20-year-old kid is a better director than the 40-year-old guy who plays video games all day. As someone whose only knowledge of the Backrooms is Kane's first video, I had a lot of fun, and I didn't really feel like I was missing out on much of anything by not knowing the lore. I know that the film is a lot more r/deep than how I'm summarizing it here. There's like some metaphors about like sanity and memories and shit, but like, I don't care. My job isn't to make an 8-hour analysis about the two chairs stacked on top of each other. This whole section was supposed to be a summary and a review of the film. If you want to know more about the complexities of the My Wife Kicked Me Out of My Own House film, just watch the fucking movie. I had a good time. I give it a My Wife Kicked Me Out of My Own House out of 10.
Yummers.
With all this Backrooms talk, it's got me thinking. Who the fuck made this? Yeah, for how big of a franchise I guess you could call it the Backrooms has become, nobody really knows who originally made it. Whilst we now know that the photo was taken at a former hobby store, we still don't know who took the photo, let alone made the original story. And honestly, I'm completely fine with never getting the answer. I forget who said it. Probably someone smarter than me. But it seems now that modern pop culture has become the downstream of 4chan posts from eons ago. These large, faceless corporations will see popular internet stories and characters from decades ago, buy the rights to them, and then proceed to make complete Congolese brimstone garbage before never doing anything with them ever again, and just sit on the rights to the dawn of time. With shit like the Slender Man movie that honestly could have had a pretty fair chance of being an okay movie, being completely squandered by Sony, thanks in part to some ugly fat stabbing a little girl in the forest. And Jeff the Killer, who didn't even get a chance to have a film because of some predator fat loser who preys on mentally ill children, who, by the way, didn't even make the story or the iconic image. He just claimed to be the guy who made it and nobody questioned it. With all this in mind, I can't think of a better person to be the creative shepherd of the Backrooms than Kane Parsons. He's got the vision and he's got the talent. I think the Backrooms as a franchise is in pretty good hands, all things considered.
But actually, no! I should have been Mr. Backrooms! My ideas are way better! Look at this!